Hello and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to delve into my new Warhammer 40k project, why I picked this army and what has really inspired me to paint this army up. So grab a brew, let's get comfortable and let's jump in. Hello again, and yeah, this is a video that really gonna sort of talk about, so obviously get yourself a drink. I don't know how long it's going to be. So yeah, right, so for Warhammer 40k 10th edition I have kind of gone on a bit of a nostalgia trip. I was doing World Eaters, and obviously if you sort of started following the channel since the summer, you will have seen me sort of jump into the World Eaters and stuff like that. I will probably go back to the World Eaters at some stage in the future once they get the second wave, but for right now I really want to do a passion project, and that is what this army is. So if you've obviously as well, there was a series of videos for the build up to 10th edition was about creating your own Space Marine chapters, and initially I did try to do this, but I kept on hitting the same thing all the time, that I kind of kept on hitting a wall about what that chapter was going to be and how it was going to sort of show itself. And it's kind of a lot of, sometimes quite a difficult thing to do, is to create your own chapter and make it really cool and unique, and which is what I really wanted. And ultimately I failed. So I kind of sort of went around sort of like thinking about what do I really want and how do I really want this army to look. And ultimately, what are my goals, my end goal being for when I've got 2,000 points painted? And those were essentially quite simple. So I wanted an army that kind of brought back that nostalgia of old, that feeling of awe and sort of happiness and excitement that I had as a child getting into 40k when I first discovered it. And that is largely down to this. That is Rogue Trader. It is the original book. I got this in 1988. I still own it. I still have it. Sadly, I don't have the red compendium that I had alongside this, which is a bit of a shame, but I still have this. And I have a lot of fun memories from my love of 40k has come from this book, because this is what started it. Now, realistically, I played a lot more Space Marine and Epic Space Marine as a child, more than I did play actual 40k or Rogue Trader. And to be completely honest, the Space Marines that I had and the Rhinos, because I was given a load of models by the lad that babysat me, I played with them like toys. I didn't wargame with them. I initially moved them around and attacked the polystyrene Warhammer castle as though they were toys. But all of the stories and everything else that I had from White Dwarfs and other little books and the Red Compendium, I absolutely just delved into that and loved the stories that I was reading. Especially for the initial story of Leman Russ, that was in the White Dwarf, with the artwork of him in the Mark 6 armor that was based on the original Rogue Trader miniature. That story and everything else literally encapsulated my imagination and love of Space Marines. And I think for the last 30 odd years I've very rarely strayed away from power armor or Space Marines as a whole, because they just get what's going on in here. They are essentially knights in space, and that was one of the main reasons why I kind of fell in love with the chapter that I have chosen. There's sort of like two main Space Marine chapters, realistically, that I've always enjoyed and always been quite fascinated about, and those are the Crimson Fists and the Howling Griffons. Now, the Crimson Fists are obviously an iconic chapter. They are this chapter right here. The probably some of the greatest artwork that has ever been done for 40k is The Last Stand of the Third Company. I also have a big poster of it on my wall just here to the side of me. which has been updated to have the Primaris Marines in it as well, which is what Games Workshop, I think it come out at the sort of the beginning of 8th edition, which is an amazing piece of artwork, and it's so iconic. And obviously another thing as well that kind of gets me as well is about the Howling Griffons, at least, is they were there at the beginning, same as the Crimson Fists. The Crimson Fists, I'll have it up on the screen, you can like there's a picture of all of the original chapters, and the Crimson Fists are there. Now in the compendium there was like a yellow book and a red book, and I believe the red book was the book that had all of the sort of things about the Badab War initially, and I always remember getting that and sort of just being blown away by how cool these Space Marines looked, and all of the different sort of colours that they were, and the little the sort of alternative camo schemes, because back in those days Space Marines wore camouflage. And it was really, really cool. And I remember getting a White Dwarf around about that time, and it had a really big poster of the rhinos and all of their different colours. Again, I'll put it up on the screen. But initially, what got me about the Howling Griffons was the red and yellow are really two quite striking colours. And like I said, I'm a lover of all things medieval and knights and things like that. And the older I've got, the Howling Griffons have always sort of captured that look and vibe of futuristic medieval knights, because they are literally walking heraldry, and that's kind of what got me. So when looking at this project for 10th edition, this army that I wanted, I was like, well, what do I want in this army? And the first thing I want is I want the army to be striking on the battlefield. I want it, when I put my army on the tabletop, I want it to look really good. And you can't get any more striking and stand out than bright yellow and red. Like, it will look really, really good on the battlefield. So I was like, yes, brilliant, whoa, cool. Obviously, Terminators are a big part of my love of 40k and the Space Marine collection. So the Terminator's been redone. That was like perfect, 100% now doing a Space Marine army. The Assault Marines and stuff like that, that's cool, and I will get to them. But the Terminators, iconic, brilliant. So I got a colour scheme that I wanted, I had a chapter that I wanted. The fact that I was able to get decals from Mighty Brush for the Howling Griffons literally sealed the deal. So ultimately I had everything there, but I just needed that end goal, that level of what I wanted at the end to happen. And that was to have an army that I could go to events, not care where I placed, or even if I come bottom, that I know that I could put my army into the best painted and have a good chance of winning it. And I thought, striking colour scheme, quarterly, really quite out there. You don't see it very often. The red and the yellow, if done right, can look really, really good. And the level of painting and stuff that I can push into this, because it's a passion project, I can really go nuts. That'll really help. And that is what I've done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the camera and I'm going to show you what I'm up to right now in regards to the army as a whole. And then we'll just talk a little bit more about what I'm going to be doing with it, what I'm planning with the army. And what I'll do with these videos is, as I sort of work through the army, every now and again, maybe once a month, I'll do an update video. I kind of had this intention with the World Eaters, but kind of fell off because I kind of stopped playing with them. But this is literally a passion project, so that's not going to happen. So what I'll do is, as I progress through the army, every month or so, I'll put up a video of showing what I'm doing. Obviously, you can keep an eye on what I'm working on and when I'm working on it regarding Instagram, which is a link in my description below. So if you want actual which miniatures I'm working on as and when, there will obviously be a tutorial for how I do my Howling Griffons. And yeah, we'll go from there, and it's really cool. And obviously there'll be a link in the description as well for the Mighty Brush decals if you are a Howling Griffons fan yourself. So let's flip the camera and let's have a little look. Okay, so when I initially got the idea of doing these, the Leviathan box had come out, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give a little bit of light. We had that the Leviathan box had come out, and the new Stern Guard models had also come out. So I managed to pick up a set of the Stern Guard models, and currently I do have another 2 in the process of being done. So yeah, I started getting the Stern Guard models, and I painted this guy up, the Sergeant. I opted to go for a black helmet for the sergeants and the white stripe for the veterans because I thought that would look really cool. And yeah, I'm really quite happy with how they turned out, and I thought that's really cool. Now, one of the things that I am going to be doing with this is I'm going to be removing this thing here, and I've got like 15 back banners that I'm going to be attaching to the sergeant. So again, very much a second edition vibe that you have with like second edition themed armies, lots of back banners. So yeah, that's going to be really cool. And obviously the decals, they look super cool. So I got him and I started working on the others, and obviously working on a couple of other projects and like 30k and stuff. And I was kind of mainly sort of holding off a little bit, waiting for the release of the new Space Marines, which are out tomorrow. And I was like, this is really cool. But in the meantime, I was able to, I got myself the new starter set. And so, because I wanted this miniature, and this is the Terminator Captain you get from the starter set. He's also in the Leviathan box, and I really wanted this miniature because I thought this looks really cool, and he will be a really cool miniature for to lead my Howling Griffons as my captain. Because the other captain models, I got the relic captain with the shield from the Indominus box. And I was like, it's really cool, but you know, Terminator armor as a captain, that's what I want. That's what I want. So yeah, I got over the past couple of days, I've been working on this guy quite feverishly, and pretty happy with how he is turned out. Obviously, I need to get some. Like matte varnish just to go over the decals, just to blend them into the model a little bit. And I need to finish the heraldry on there, and there's a little couple of bits and pieces on him that I need to do, but all in all, I'm very happy with how he has come out. I think he will look pretty badass on the battlefield. And there's obviously, as I've been waiting and painting, there is a very big difference in the difference of colour between the yellow. The way I've done the yellow, I've got it down now to how I want it to be done. So I'll have to glaze in a little bit more of the golden yellow onto this guy to sort of bring him back into line with these. But I'm all in all, I'm happy enough with how those have worked. But that's not the only thing I've been working on. I have actually been working on this guy as well. And one of the other things I wanted in the army was I wanted high contrast in the models. So if you actually look at the captain, there's quite a lot of contrast in the shadows and in the armor panels, and that kind of came off the back of this, because I was like, I really want a lot of contrast in. So as you can see around the front, you've got a lot of the shadows and everything else, and it kind of really emphasizes the sort of panels and everything, especially up here and everything else. So I was like, I really want that, and that's what I want to do. So that's what I've done. Again, the matte varnish will sort of get rid of that the decal stain around the side, and yeah, so I just need to get the base finished on this guy. I do have another Dreadnought, a normal standard Redemptor, which was painted up as an Imperial Fist, but it'll be getting stripped and painted up as a Howling Griffon, and I just do think that looks just so good. The base is obviously drying, as you can see, and then I'll be getting the base finished, and then I've just got the black part here and on the weapons, and then the missiles. So once that is done, it'll just matter of be finishing off the last bit of the detail. I may go back and do some battle damage on them, but right now I'm pretty happy with how he looks. And currently I am working on this guy, which is the first of the Terminators of the squad. I've only really been working on the main body. I haven't really done the arms yet. Again, as you can see, I'm really trying to get those volumes and that contrast between light and dark into the on the armor and I think it looks pretty damn cool. There's a couple of bits and pieces that I need to tidy up, and obviously the arms aren't glued on. So the arms aren't glued on, so I was able to take them off, and then I'll get them done separately. And he has obviously the back panel. Now it is a weird angle, but the Terminators are at a weird angle, and that's fine. You still get that vibe there. So I'm quite chuffed with that, actually. And then obviously I have the other four of these guys built. Arms not put in place, and they will be painted up, as well as the 5 Stern Guard. And I also believe that I've got like 15 intercessors, and then 5 of the guys that are flamey guys. So that's where my army's standing at the moment, and I'm really excited. Actually, there's the Redemptor Dreadnought right there on my shelf. I'm really kind of excited about this army, and there's so many cool things that I want to do. In regards to the new things that are coming out, like the Captain, the Jump Pack Captain, and the Assault Marines and stuff like that. Sorry, the Assault Intercessors. Yes, definitely. I definitely want to probably get a couple of squads of them, because I think ideally I'd like to collect about a company size strength, or a demi-company of troops. So about 50 Marines, tacticals, sort of Devastator type troops, and Assault Marines. As well as like a lot of Terminators and Stern Guard. And because the Howling Griffons are very much sort of knights in space, I definitely want some Blade Guard. The fact that as well that we can now put Primaris Marines in drop pods also really excites me, that I can actually have a drop pod army in 10th edition, which is something that I'll probably end up doing, and probably going into. But yeah, I'm really excited for this army. So hopefully you'll have enjoyed this. If you like my content and you like the Howling Griffons, drop me a subscribe, and leave a comment below and ring the bell and give all this thumbs up and everything else. We're really smashing it soon. I'll be going back to live streaming hopefully very, very soon, where the channel is about to unlock memberships and super chats. Now, I'm not interested in trying to make this like a financial thing. All of the money that the channel makes will go back into new models for tutorials and everything else. So some of the Patreon money that I've had paid for this start set. So there's a load of Tyranids there that I'm going to be painting up as painting tutorials as well. For the channel, and what I will do is, if you support me on Patreon, there'll be videos popping up on the Patreon, and in the membership area I will be probably trying to put like 1 video a month up into there as well for you guys. And what I want that to be is, if you do become a member, once it becomes unlocked and you are a channel member, I will have regular polls for channel members that you guys will decide what that model and that tutorial is going to be, and then I will go and get the model, and obviously get to do it for you guys, because, you know, I'm not a massive fan of paid wall content. One of the things that kind of irritates me about the current batch of influencers and YouTubers is they get sent things from Games Workshop for free, which are meant to be for product review, and then they put those reviews behind a paywall, and I'm a bit like, I'm not like that, don't like that at all. That's not something I would like to do, and that's not something I would ever want to do. So the content that will be in the membership area and the Patreon will be geared and tailored to what you, the people who are giving me the money, want. So if you want to see a Reboot Gilliman painted, then that's what the money will be used for, and Reboot Gilliman will be there for you. Speaking of Robert Gilliman, I was able to pick up a very busted up Reboot Gilliman that kind of needs stripped and fixed and repaired, and maybe will feature in one of these video logs. So yeah, maybe that's what will happen in the future. But again, thank you to very much for the support. The channel is going nuts right now. The algorithm is really starting to kick in. And we're really starting to churn through those hours. We're pretty much very, very close to getting to that 3,000 hours, and then not that far away from that 4,000 hours. So I'm like blown away by the support. So thank you very much. And I will catch you in the next video. Enjoy Warhammer Day previews tomorrow. I will have a video about that on Monday. And yeah, I'll catch you all in the next one, everyone. Goodbye for now.